Hi, my name is Amy Dahlberg, and my presentation is on artificial intelligence law and ethics. So, artificial intelligence basically, um, you eventually want a computer to be able to solve problems without a human being involved. So, right now, like programmers train it on sets of data, and that allows it to recognize patterns and to predict future options and make its own decisions. And it has a wide range of applications, so like self-driving cars, and yeah, I'll mention a few others later on. But this brings up some ethical issues because it is trained on data sets provided by people, so it has biases um, that and stereotypes and such that humans have. So there are one example is that there was racism in healthcare. So they would use it to predict what groups would need the most attention, and it was saying that white people would need more attention, but it was because it took the element of who has paid more for healthcare in the past and used that to predict future need. So that's just one element that led to the bias rather than it all being biased data. So artificial intelligence involves, there's less human involvement. So this can be a good thing because it takes less effort on our parts and stuff like self-driving cars, like maybe they can make a split-second decision that we would not be able to make. However, it does lead to problems like because we are able to make emotional decisions and to weigh our options, but the way that artificial intelligence is trained, it makes split-second decisions just based on the factors it has been given, and it will weigh factors differently than we might. So an example of that is if it's a self-driving car and it is going to hit something, which would it pick versus which would we pick. So if it would pick between two people, it might make a different decision than we would. And then it also raises the ethical issue, it's not capable of moral reasoning. So it's just taking what it has learned from human behavior in the past. So if it's trained on data that has these biases and different things like that, it's just deciding based on those. So I mentioned racism in healthcare. There's also the prominent examples of the correctional offender management profiling for alternative systems, which is where in courts they were taking the data, they were taking offender data, and they were predicting who would be a repeat offender. And it turns out that they were predicting twice the amount of black offenders than double offenders than it would actually end up being, and half of the predicted white double offenders. And then Amazon hiring, it was a program that would look through resumes, and it was hiring more men because it was trained on a set of data that there were just more male resumes in there. So it can lead to a lot of racism or sexism or even stuff like ageism. So the laws regarding artificial intelligence are there aren't many yet because it's pretty new, and because like we don't really know how it will develop and like what regulations we'll need. So the one that I saw, the part of artificial intelligence that had the most laws surrounding it so far have been like the self-driving cars. Yeah, and I put Automated Decision Systems Accountability Act in California because that's one of the laws that I saw have actually been enacted recently. And there have been a lot of laws in the past that they were written, but they failed in early stages. And many states don't have any sort of, like, not many regulations yet. Also, eventually, the hope is that artificial intelligence will be, like, completely, like, self-learning. So it'll make mistakes, but it'll correct them. And in that case, the question is how will you be able to regulate that and make laws regarding that? Because right now, if it does something that harms people or anything like that, like the people who programmed it are responsible. So you can't really make artificial intelligence responsible for its own mistakes. So, like, what do you do with that? And then, so in the future, we're going to have to just sort of see, like, what artificial intelligence develops into. It needs regulation, but there's so many different applications for it that I think it would be hard to, like, make one overarching law that will cover everything, or like even a few. Like, I think they'll have to, like, right now they have specific ones regarding the cars. So I think they might need to, like, continue doing that and saying, like, oh, in this field, for artificial intelligence, it needs to follow these regulations and stuff like that. Yeah. So, okay, here are my references, and I'll leave I'll leave this list in the caption thing of the YouTube video. So, thank you.